Wow, look at that. What a good-looking snail.
Yes, it does look harmless, doesn't it? But this snail is actually a killer.
A killer? How can a small snail harm anything? It's so tiny.
Well, this is the New Zealand mud snail. It wasn't always here. It was introduced to Europe in the 19th century, brought over for aquaculture. But like many invaders, it didn't stay put, it spread quickly.
But how did it spread all the way to places like here in Europe?
It started small, just like this little snail you see here. But once it found its way into waterways, it multiplied rapidly. You see, these snails don't need a mate to reproduce, they can clone themselves. And before we knew it, they were everywhere, especially in places like the Danube River in Austria and other parts of Europe.
But if it's multiplying that fast, what's the problem? What's it doing?
The problem is, it outcompetes native species. These snails feed on diatoms, tiny algae that are at the base of the food chain. When the snails eat too many, they starve other creatures, from small invertebrates to fish that rely on the algae. It's like taking away the food from the entire river.
Wow, that's bad. So, how do we stop it? Can we get rid of all these snails?
It's not easy, but we're taking steps. First, we educate people. Local fishermen and boaters are trained to clean their gear and equipment before moving between different rivers and lakes. This prevents the snails from hitching a ride to new places. We're also working on restoring natural habitats, replanting native vegetation, and creating safe spaces for the local species to thrive again. It's not just about removing the snails, it's about bringing the river back to life.
That makes sense. If we protect the native plants and animals, we can bring balance back to the river.
Exactly. It's all about maintaining balance. Nature has its ways of correcting itself, but sometimes we need to give it a helping hand. Native species are essential for a healthy ecosystem, and we have to protect them for the future.
It's a journey of recovery, one step at a time. Through education, conservation, and restoration efforts, the battle to protect our waterways and the creatures within them is one we must fight together.